Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jess, or the TIE Fighter Chick. Today is Sizzling Sundays. We are doing another Disney recipe. Today's recipe comes from the Star Wars cookbook, and it is called Tosche Station Toast. It's a version of French toast. I will leave the full recipe down in the description box for you, as well as hopefully a link to this book if I can find it. But I'm super excited for this. It's going to be fun. We're basically doing a brunch menu with this. So I've got bacon cooking in the oven right now. That I can already smell that bacony goodness. Let's pop you down for a look. And there it is. Whew. Nice and toasty there. Fogged up my glasses. There we go. For the French toast itself, you will need 4 eggs, which I have here in this container. 1 cup of milk plus 1 tablespoon at room temperature. Mine is still a little bit cold, but I think it'll be okay. 1 teaspoon of vanilla, and it calls for 1 tablespoon of granulated sugar, and then ground cinnamon, 1/2 teaspoon. I'm also going to be adding in a little bit of ground cloves and ground nutmeg as well, just because I like those flavors and I feel like it would go well with this. Then it calls for the bread. It's wanting 8 slices of large, sturdy sandwich bread. I did Nature's Own, perfectly crafted, the thick sliced brioche style bread. It's got a nice texture to it. It's a little bit on the sweet side, so I think it'll go well with doing French toast. Let's see here, called for butter. That's just for cooking in the pan. And then maple syrup to eat it with. Also calls for cream cheese, which is interesting. I've already taken this out of the box. This was just the Philadelphia cream cheese, standard 8-ounce box. From what my best guess is it's going to, you're going to spread it on the toast, and then when it goes in the oven, it kind of bakes and puffs up almost like a pastry. So it's going to be interesting. This is a new addition to French toast that I'm not used to. Other than that, it's pretty standard. You take and preheat the oven to 375, mix up the eggs, milk, and vanilla. Then it's wanting... Yep, it's wanting the cream cheese, a little bit of milk, and then the granulated sugar and cinnamon mixed up with just like a spatula. And then you spread it onto the bread. All right, well, let's get started. I forgot I need butter, so I'm gonna go grab that out of the fridge real quick. Pretty easy. We just have the spreadable butter. I'm gonna get out my spatula here. Why not? We'll use my Star Wars one. All right. Since I don't have heavens almighty, the pan preheated yet, we'll go ahead and make up our egg mixture. How's everybody doing? I know a lot of places are still in quarantine stages due to COVID. Is everybody doing okay? I live in Tennessee and we're doing okay. The county that I'm in, we don't have as many cases as, say, Nashville. Nashville's got quite a few. The mask mandates, as far as I understand, are no longer in effect. We still wear masks when we go out in public, if we're around lots of people that we can't socially distance from. Man, I am having a problem with eggshells today. I cannot get these suckers. There we go. But how's everybody doing? I know mental health is a big issue with this time of pandemic, myself included in that. It does get kind of crazy. I'm gonna go throw these eggshells in the trash real quick. And of course, wash the hands. You don't want to spread salmonella. There we go. But yeah, I know it's been kind of crazy for everybody this time around. But things are going pretty good here. I've started a newer job. We're gonna add most of the milk to this. I've started a new job since I think we all spoke last. because I film things, you know, so far in advance. But things are going really well with that. I work at a vet hospital. It's great fun. What does everybody else do for work? Let's see here. I forgot I needed measuring spoons. Those kind of help. What does everybody else do for work? Comment down below. I love hearing what people do and, you know, what people are involved in and hobbies and that sort of thing. This YouTube channel actually started off as a hobby for quarantine. Since I was no longer working, I needed something to keep me occupied and keep me busy so I wasn't just sitting on the couch all day. Now this is a half teaspoon measuring spoon, so that's why I did 2 of the vanilla. How much does cinnamon did it call for? Woo. Half a teaspoon of cinnamon. All right. So we'll just continue to use this one. But yeah, I love hearing what everybody does for hobbies. I do a little bit of gardening, not much. I tend to have a bit of a black thumb. When it comes to gardening, I tend to kill plants. However, I'm pretty excited. I've been able to keep these plants alive for a while. It brings me so much joy, like, kind of funny that, you know, you would get so much joy out of trying to keep something alive. But I just replanted a couple of plants. We had these 2, I don't know what you'd call them. They're like a sunflower variety, but they're real small. Coneflowers, maybe. But we had 2 of those, and it was getting towards the end of their growing season, and they were just annuals. So I went ahead and took them out, and I replanted with something called a blue star juniper, and it looks amazing. Front porch looks great. We've also done some holiday stuff up, some fall decorations, that kind of thing. I've got our fall wreath out on the front porch. We've got a little welcome sign that has, you know, jack-o'-lanterns on it and all that sort of stuff. It's been a lot of fun. All right, so I added the ground cinnamon was a half a teaspoon. Ground cloves and ground nutmeg, I just kind of eyeballed it at about 1/8 of a teaspoon. They're both really strong flavors. So, excuse me, I didn't want to have those kind of overpower everything. We're just gonna take and scramble this together. I'm notorious for spilling things. There we go. So this is your egg wash for the French toast. And you want to just kind of, it's almost like you're doing scrambled eggs. You want to whisk the eggs and whatnot together until it's one homogeneous mixture. That's looking good. Smells really good. Makes me think of like Thanksgiving, which, you know, nutmeg and cloves, those are part of pumpkin pie spice, which that's kind of becoming synonymous with fall, pumpkin pie spice. Who here likes pumpkin spice drinks? I don't. I avoid them at all costs. I do not like them at all whatsoever. But I did happen to stop at Starbucks today and pulled up one of my favorite things. You know what, we're just gonna mix in here. Got one of my favorite things, which is, okay, backstory to this. I worked at Hastings. I don't know if anybody's familiar with that. It's basically like a Barnes & Noble, Hot Topic, GameStop, Spencer's conglomeration of all those. So I worked there, and the one I worked at had a cafe inside of it, and I worked at the cafe. Let's see here, see if I can get that without splashing too much. I worked at the cafe, and one year for Christmas we had something called a white peppermint hot chocolate. Really all it is a thing of steamed milk with peppermint in it. Like, super stupid simple, but it has become one of my absolute favorite things. I love it. It is delicious. All right, I'm gonna add a little bit of vanilla to this too. I think I did things backwards. I'm so used to adding it to the egg wash. So we're gonna do a little bit of everything back in the cream cheese. I don't think it's gonna matter too much, to be honest. You can always do a little bit more spices when it comes to things. Bland food is never a good thing. So, kind of take and stir all this in together. Whew. Oh, see, I'm making a mess. Like I said, I'm notorious for it. We'll just clean that up. So yeah, the peppermint hot chocolate is one of my absolute favorite things. And to me, when it gets cold enough in the morning that I can start drinking that, it means that fall is here. And today it was in like the 60s when I got up. I had to get up early to take care of a piece of metal in my tire. Oh yeah, that was fun. So got up early and went and took care of that, and it was all nice and cold outside. You know, I had to wear a jacket. It was great. So I went ahead and stopped at Starbucks and got myself a peppermint white hot chocolate. All right, so part of why they tell you to do this at room temperature is to help everything like melt together. So mine was still a little bit cold. I'd had it sitting out for a little bit here on the counter. I think what I'm gonna do actually, well, it might be okay. We'll come back to this. I might pop it in the microwave for a couple of minutes. All right, so let's check my recipe since I obviously did things a little weird here. Let's see here. Okay, so it wants you to put the cream cheese mixture on first before you do the egg wash. And then it's basically like stuffed French toast. Help each side, okay. Calls for cookie cutters as well. I'm just gonna make regular French toast. You could do these in shapes if you wanted. Let's see here. So, as you can see, this is thick sliced bread. It's a lot thicker than just your regular standard slice, and it's got a nice texture to it. All right. Oh, I think I was supposed to put sugar in there. All right. Forgot we were supposed to add the granulated sugar. So I'll just do a little bit in there. Estimating that that's probably about a tablespoon. I'm not too terribly worried about measurements on that. And I think I am going to pop this into the microwave. Let's see if I can get it to mix up any better with the regular spoon. Anyways, so fall is on its way. So I've done decorating today. Put out like fall stuff. Not Halloween yet, although some of our stuff is Halloween themed. But I haven't put that out a whole bunch yet just because it's not October. Alright, that mixed up a little bit better. Not a whole lot, but that's okay. You know what? We're just going to use the spoon to scoop it out onto the bread. And then we're going to spread it. So, as you can see here, it makes a nice layer. That's supposed to be enough for 8 slices of toast, but I mean, that's putting a whole heck of a lot of stuff in between, but that's okay. It must soak up into the bread. Whoops. So we'll just put a little extra here on both slices. That says to sandwich them together. And then we'll put it in the egg wash. There we go. That's looking pretty good. Normally I would take and spread everything out. There you have it. Take and spread it out all the way to the edges, but I think we're just going to leave it as is. All right. Let's get some butter in the pan and get that going. Get myself rearranged here. So when you're doing something like French toast, it's always good to have everything set up in a line so that you can take and do French toast into the egg wash straight into the pan. That way you're not dripping egg into random spots. All right, that's a pretty good chunk of butter. I think that'll do. Get this on high. And then we'll turn it this way. Let's check on the bacon. Oh, that bacon is looking good. Okay, Google, how much time is left on my timer?
There's 5 minutes and 55 seconds left.
Okay, Google, add 5 minutes to the timer.
Done. 5 minutes added to your timer.
All right, so it looks like we're getting the butter melted here. Has anybody been to Disney recently? How's that going? Is it doing okay with the mask mandates? I know as of right now we're still not planning on going to Disney for Christmas unless by some miracle everything clears up, but we'll see how that goes. All right. I'll let that last bit of butter melt and then we'll do our sandwich. So if you've never done French toast before, you want to take and dip the bread in, but you want to let it sit and soak a little bit, just so it'll soak up all of the flavors. I'm actually going to take and kind of push this down with that spoon because I'm trying to keep my fingers somewhat dry. There we go. Not too worried about the eggs since we're going to be cooking everything, especially in the oven. Alright, so we've got a little bit of egg on there. Flip it over a bit, let that side soak for just a second. Make sure my pan is nice and hot. And, ooh, that's a big boy. In we go. Rinse my hand off a little bit here. Alright, so I think my pan needed to be a little bit hotter, but that's alright. We'll go ahead and get our next sandwich going. There we go. But yeah, how is Disney doing with all of that stuff, the mask mandate and everything? Seems like from what I've seen, they're keeping a good head on things, making sure everything is taken care of. That way people are safe. Oh, there goes the sizzle. I can hear it. But, you know, so far so good. Hopefully this will be over soon so we can all get back out to doing the things that we enjoy. A little bit more here. It's got a nice sizzle going on to it. Smells good. There we go. And the original recipe says to take and to put the whole skillet into the oven. What I'm going to do instead is take and put the sandwiches once they're done onto the cookie sheets here that I've lined with foil, and we'll take and go from there. But so far looks pretty good. Bring you in here for a smell-o-vision. It's looking pretty good. I'm pretty happy about that. Let's see here. It's trying to slide away on me here. All right. Ooh, excuse me. Yep, so that bread definitely is going to need to go into the oven to finish baking. It did soak up quite a bit of the mixture. But I'm excited for these. These are going to be good. I can't wait. Oh man, that smell of cinnamon cooking. Delicious. Makes me think of kind of like Christmas morning or getting up early on Saturday mornings and, you know, my mom making food in the mornings. Or my partner. My partner does cook, like to do breakfast. Yeah, a little bit of burnt egg there. We'll get rid of that. Alright, I think that's pretty good. I'm going to take and pop that there. Turn down the heat just a little bit. Pop some more butter in. Probably should put on my apron for this. Brown butter's never a bad thing. Alright, I'm going to let this one soak just a little bit less since the last one got so much that it was a little bit soft. So, this looks really good. Like, look at that. Yum! Yum, yum, yum. It's like stuffed French toast. I bet you, if you wanted to, you could probably add some like strawberry jam or some sliced strawberries and do like a strawberry stuffed French version. I bet that would be really good. Alright, so I'm down to my last 2 slices. But that is perfectly alright. I was gonna say, I knew I'd end up having a little bit left over since this is for a big sandwich. I've got some regular sliced bread that I might do some on. Alright, let's see. Yep, looking good. Gotta kind of work fast with these, especially when you had the pan as hot as I did. But that's okay. Add a little bit more just to help act as glue. There we go. Let's say that is probably done. Yep. Alrighty. We will dip our next one. Still have a little bit of butter, kind of browned, but that's alright. There we go. Rinse my hand again. That is the one problem with this type of recipes. It is a bit messy. Alright, so we're going to experiment here a little bit since I've got this regular, just Italian sandwich bread. I'm going to snag a couple of those slices. Yeah, that's the heel on that one. I think these I'm just going to do as regular French toast, but let's see. Oh no, I got just enough. Okay. Got just enough of the cream cheese mixture that I think we will be just fine. There we go. Okay. Looking good so far. Scooch these over just a bit here so I can fit 4 of these babies on here. Yep, looks like it is just enough for 4 sandwiches. So if you are doing this for a large group of people, you are going to need to change the recipe a little bit. And that thinner sandwich bread is definitely not as sturdy as the other, but that's okay. And we'll let that sit for a minute. No. There we go. Sandwich number 4, and last but not least. Now normally if there was not any spices or anything in this, I would just dump it in the pan and do like scrambled eggs with it, but since it has all the spices to it, we're just gonna end up dumping it out, but that is quite okay. I'm really happy with how these are turning out. They are looking really good. And we're gonna take and bake these in the oven until they puff up. Let's see here. That'll work. Should have just enough room. Check on my bacon. Looking good, looking good. So these will go in the oven for, let's see here, 8 to 10 minutes. They have to kind of turn puffy and golden brown. So that one is looking pretty good. All right, and I do tend to like some butter with my French toast, so I'm gonna keep that out. But let's go ahead and start cleaning up. I do tend to clean as I go when I am cooking. All right, let's see here. Last bit is the vanilla. All right, there we go. That's dirty. The rest of these are clean. There we go. Now we have a relatively clean kitchen. Not perfectly clean, but not bad. All right. Yep, that's done. So we are going to turn that off. Pop this in the sink. Gotta love nonstick skillets. All right, now this, like I said, will go into the oven for 8 to 10 minutes. Now, unfortunately, it is going on the pizza stone in the very bottom rack of the oven. Okay, Google, stop. So I will need to keep an eye on it just to make sure that nothing happens. All right, looks like the bacon is done, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull that out of the oven. And then I can actually switch things around. There we go. Oh yes, look at that bacony goodness. I am excited for the bacon. I'll put down a couple of paper towels here. Now I tend to cook a lot with forks, just the way I grew up. So some people have a special pair of tongs that they can use, to pull the bacon up. I tend to just use a fork. As you can see, it works pretty well. Once this video goes up, y'all will have to let me know if you try this. Definitely post to Instagram. I'll leave the hashtag on the in the description. There's what I'm trying to say. Oh, come on. Hot bacon. I'll leave the Instagram tag to tag me in so you can show me what you made, because I love seeing people engage with my photos, and part of that is cooking as well. So knowing that you tried a recipe that I did from this video would be pretty exciting. All right, so some of these bacon strips are crumbling a little bit when I try to pull them off, but that's okay. I prefer my bacon extra crispy. Delicious. This last little piece is really stuck. We got the Smithfield brand of bacon, and it's a little different. It's got a lot of fat to it, and like it's these huge slices. Like, look how big these things are. Like, it's crazy. So I do have a couple more of these to cook up, so I think I'm just gonna do that real quick while we're waiting on the French toast. But other than that, breakfast is ready. I hope that you guys have enjoyed this video. I hope that you end up cooking the Tosche Station Toast. That's a tongue twister. If you do, post a picture, let me see it. I'd love to know what you thought of the recipe. I'd love to know how it went, all that good stuff. And at the very end of this video, I will post a finished photo of the French toast once it comes out of the oven. That way you're not having to sit here and wait for 1.5 million years. But thanks for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and thanks for finding my little corner of the internet. I hope you have an absolutely magical day. Until next time.